And welcome to our YouTube channel here, Grandpa Peter Coyote's personal YouTube channel. We appreciate all you guys tuning in over the years and giving us so many hits and so on and so forth, and mainly picking up the vibrations of the heart, giving yourself that start, helping yourself understand little facets of it here and there. We've covered a lot. But I'm here to let you know we got an exciting thing going on now over at thecoyoteclub.com. Coyote Club Radio, babies. You can tune in to Grandpa's musical tunage and musical wisdom. Oh, kind of a potpourri of, magic and humor and a lot of other stuff too. Coyote Medicine 24/7. I call it Messages from Heaven. Right there at Coyote Club Radio. Available, like I say, 24/7. At thecoyoteclub.com. Coyotes with a K and Club is too, okay? Now, see, let me tell you how it goes here. We replay our most current shows intermixed with shows from the past, and babies, it just if you're looking for something, you're probably going to get it there. You can tune in, like I say, any time of day, 24/7. Grandpa's there to help you along the way. 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm on there live and spontaneous. If you don't know what time that is, local time in your area, there's a link to a time converter right there on my homepage, or our homepage, at thecoyoteclub.com. So, babies, you want to enjoy, because my offerings here on YouTube will probably be sparse for a little bit. We're going through some changes, so if you're missing old Grandpa and you really want to get it on, get over to thecoyoteclub.com and just click the little player. We've also got a room there, a page there with a chat room in it, so you can listen in and chat when Grandpa's live on the air, or leave me a message there and I'll get it next time I tune into the chat room, okay? But I'm normally there 10 a.m. to 12 noon Mountain Time. And again, turn to the time converter on the home page to figure out what times those might be in your local time area, okay? Thanks again for being here. We love you at our YouTube channel too, and we'll try to keep up with it as best we can, but got our hands full, man. So best to go over to thecoyoteclub.com and tune in to Coyote Club Radio, okay? You can even get it on your phone, though the chat room don't seem to work there, but the tunage, the Grandpa's tunage voice coming in there pretty clear, okay? Thanks a lot, dear. Appreciate you being here. Yes, indeedy. England Dan and John Ford Coley from way back in the day. Here on Coyote Club Radio, light of the world, set us free. Love is the answer, don't you see? Well, Love is the Answer is the title of that song. Just in case you want to go look it up on iTunes or somewhere, purchase that little thing, I suggest you do, babies, because, well, it's one you want to hear every now and then, isn't it? Yes, indeedy. Hey, clink, clink, clink all the way around with our official Coyote Club radio mugs. I'm going to have to come up with a whole new design and a whole new mug here pretty soon. Too bad I didn't do it in time for Christmas, but I'll tell you what, getting myself just set up, getting ourselves set up here on the radio and getting everything going and rocking, and now I've got new sponsors I got to add in here. Got a lot of work on my old plate, kids, but guess what? We'd happily do it just for you. Clink, clink, clink all the way around, and here's to your heart a salute. Yes, indeedy. Ah, much better. Nothing like cold coffee to warm your heart up early in the day, especially coffee of a little bit of a higher quality. When you say, ooh, organic is the only way. And even then, you got to be careful, because some people just flat don't know how to roast a decent cup of coffee, eh? But you do, because you're right here with Grandpa, and we're pros at that kind of stuff. Well, maybe our specialty's tea or something else. Whatever it is, we're good at it, ain't we? Got it just the way we like it. Get that mother love back. See, that's what we're doing in the sub-psychological sort of way. You know, when we're sipping on our coffee, we're participating in mother's milk once again. And I just had to have another sip. But it's a salute to your heart, too. And all the sub-psychology we go through. You got eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart that gets it clear. All we got to do, baby, is tune into it here. The way we do day after day in that Coyote Club sort of way. On Coyote Club Radio, wouldn't you say? Oh, yay. And Monday, well, that's the day, baby. Well, maybe it's the beginning of the week and you're going to have to work at a job you don't particularly like this week and do things you don't really want to do. But baby, if you got that contentment, that satisfaction, let's say, and there's more than contentment. It's a satisfaction in your heart. And it's only felt, as far as I know, in one way, and that's in unity. The closer we get, the better we feel. The more peace we make with our past, and it doesn't drag us down. At last, finally, we got, a way to go, a way to understand it with, a little larger eyes that are led by the heart. 3 eyes that are led by the heart, because in that third eye is the secret of seeing between the divisions and dissolving them away, eh? Because that third eye, that's the connection to the subconscious, the mystical aspects of ourselves, let's say. Babies, we've sure seen a lot in our day, haven't we? But look how we're seeing it now. The more better we feel inside, the better we see it outside of ourselves. No matter how crazy it's getting in the world around us, and threats of World War III, 4, 5, and 6, all rolled up into one. The decadence of our society around us just crumbling. And most people's complete dependency on a system that's rather fragile. Yes, indeedy. I mean, the grid, the communications grid, etc. I mean, think about it, people. We're only a few seconds from complete disaster, and our lives completely depend upon electricity and communications, man, which is part of electricity. See, and that grid, well, it's held up somehow all these years. And we're back in the 60s, we thought it was going down when something happened up there in New York City and put that place in darkness. Ooh, not something you want to see. The city of light going dark, eh? Well, I think that one was dark even in the light of day. Though it's okay. I got a lot of friends that live there, and whatever it is that you want to be, but see how dependent on the whole thing you are. And it might make you feel a little less than comfortable hanging out there, Maybe it's time to start a different show. Maybe it's time to get in a different flow. Maybe it's time to get back to your roots, eh? I know I hit a time like that in my life back about, 92 or so, I think it was. And next thing you know, I had a ranch way back in the mountains. I was operating in partnership with another person. And I was, as happy could be. First time in my life I'd really felt at home. It's like that land called me to it. Well, I've been through a lot of similar experiences now, and I know that home is wherever you happen to be, because it's right here in your heart, don't you see? Home is something we carry with us, not some place where we put our roots in the ground and stay there forever. No, home is what's in our heart, and it goes with us wherever we go. So wherever we are, if we're at home, hey, guess what? We're going to get along, and we're going to sing the same song as every heart around us. Oh, the power of the coyote medicine in this life. It's something else, isn't it? Here we are feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't go to that foreign place. There's too many people who spit in my face, and I don't know the language. And babies, just do like some of our friends out there do. Just go. When the feeling takes you there, go with the flow. And don't worry about it no more. You'll find you'll be accommodated wherever you go. There might be somebody that speaks your language. There might be, somebody that understands. I mean, you just never know. Just go with the flow. There's some reason why you got to be there, else you wouldn't be inclined to go there, right? Right. Take it from an old traveler, too. When you're traveling, that's when you're learning what home is. See? Home's not a domestic situation where you settle down and raise up a family, though it certainly can be. That's part of it. But whatever you got your heart into, wherever your heart is, that's your home, babies. That's just the way it is. So our hometown is basically the same town, whether it's found in New York City, L.A., or out there on, Sydney, Nebraska, let's say. Or, out in the boondocks. I mean, the boondocks. There's not too many of them left these days, is there? This old human civilization, as we call it, sure has spread all over, but yet there are people that do know how to take care of themselves should things fall apart. And babies, might not be a good idea to acquaint yourself with such stuff. Not that we're going to ever have it bad, but just that we might have a little time to go through. I mean, you look around you and you can see that this society, as we've been living it, is pretty much finished. And if people don't start finding their heart, well, what's the other alternative? We don't want to even think about it, do we? No, because we don't want to create those kind of thoughts. We know that's happened in the past. The evidence is tremendous. Plus, we all, when we're honest with ourselves, we feel it inside. We know that there's been times in history that were far grander even than anything we can imagine now. We've been there, done that. As far as the human race goes. And we've had to start over more than a few times before. In fact, I'd say many times. Some geologists say just from the evidence on the earth that has been like 32 complete restarts in this reality. Some say less. I don't know if any of them say any more, but anyway, it's quite the geological evidence quite compelling. I posted a little something about that city they're digging up over there in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, that outdates anything they've ever known, and is indicative of a far more advanced civilization than the caveman. Let me tell you. This stuff just blows them away. They do their best to suppress what they can of it, but it gets out no matter what, man. You just can't deny the history that we've lived. And we feel that same kind of thing happening now. We look around us in the world and the leaders aren't leaders anymore. They're just figureheads, and the real leaders are people that have less than good intentions for their fellow human being. But that can change in a heartbeat too. We don't have to see it that way any longer. You see, when we find this gathering together in ourselves, when we can put together all of our energies or see them as coming from a singular source, that is the heart, not the mind. The mind is the operator, is the operating system of the heart. See, but we've been cut off from our heart inside somehow, somewhere along the way in our historical ancestral trail. And babies, that's when we started to, screw up and had to get the earth to compel her food forward for us, agriculture and stuff like that. Not agribiz like we're doing now, trying to poison the whole reality. See, but it can all change in one little heartbeat. As we gather ourselves together here, when we finally feel that unity with all of our own energies, then we begin to see a significant change in the reality around us. Because, babies, what flows through us flows into creation. Every human has this ability. Every human is this person and can see what's going to be. Everyone. Yet, until you're in this place where you see, that's why we go to Spring Creek, back to the beginning, back to where the heart first brought life forward, or that's what it appears to be. Again, it's just part of a larger cycle. There is no beginning or end at all, and we know that in our heart. It's a little bit difficult for the mind to accept when you live in this limited 3D world, with all of its limitations and the feeling of powerlessness. Well, you never will feel powerful until you're unified in yourself, and even then, it will be an incidental thing. Oh, wow, that's pretty good. We got the power of creation. But it's all of us. It's not just one of us. See, the whole idea of being separated from one another is the biggest fiction ever compelled on us. And the only way that could happen is if we're isolated from the energy of our heart, our knowing self that is creation. Just like everything else around us is. Creation is a mutual symphony, a rock and roll symphony of the heart. And everybody knows their part. Yet we can't play it if we don't live in that flow. If we're outside, the building, let alone not being a part of the jam session, we're that isolated. If we feel that, and that's the only way we can feel it, it's a lie, complete lie, that we are separate persons. Let that one sink in for a little bit. Challenge yourself, see if that ain't true. And I'll tell you what, as you gather yourself together inside, as you give yourself time to take a little ride in the heart, and you close your eyes and you watch from inside your mind through that third eye. It's in the middle. Oh, darn it, I gotta shut that thing off. I always say wouldn't do that. Doggone things, I tell you, you just don't know what to do half the time, do you? But get into those eyes will unify as you give yourself time to do this, time to take a little flight inside. In other words, that's getting as high as a kite. But that's where we're meant to be, higher than a kite by a long shot. We just dissolve away the divisions of our reality from any other that might be. And we know there's other realities because people come and get born from an invisible world and die and go back in the ground, and and the heart just is still around. But we don't see, we feel cut off from those that are dead. But I tell you, the more we find the living inside, the more we're going to find the dead are living right alongside ourselves. That's all there is to it. Hey, forgive the interruptions. I really should shut those things off when they get on the air. Sometimes I just don't think about it, kids. But that's what it is. Love is the answer. And what is that love? It's a unifying feeling inside that each one of us opens to by allowing our energies, all of the energies inside, all of the compulsions to do this, do that, do that, do that, all that operates our body and soul. Everything we bring to the magic of the center heart. It's above the solar plexus and below the throat, right there in the center of your chest. If you got to have a physical reality to it. And if you look at it, that's where the pain began, was when there was a separation of heart. I could describe that story now, where it really happened, in terms of ancestral humanity, but I don't choose to do that right now. Just know that that moment happened, and because of that, the entirety of humanity was shocked beyond our reality and started to accept a whole other state of being as our existence. I've described other ways of getting here before, like how we came as these beings in this ship, it looked like, but who knows, it was so big. Maybe it was another reality. But there was a shimmering wall, a veil kind of thing between the reality where we lived and this one we're living in now, you see. And some of us chose to step through that veil and feel our feet on the ground and start to live as a physical presence. And when we did, there was a separation. And that grand ship of love went away. and we were all alone. That was the first feeling of isolation, the first dozen or so beings to step forward into this reality. Now that might be a metaphorical representation, but I see it as part of our history. Someday the whole book will wind itself together and we'll understand, man, all of it. But that's where it began, is in places like that separation, that going away, and that not feeling connected with life anymore, where before we knew there was unity. That's why we weren't afraid to step out of one reality into another and create a division, because we knew it was unified. We couldn't conceive of it any other way till we were on this side of that veil. And those first beings didn't even know what time was, you know. Saw the sun in the sky. That's what happened to our spaceship as it withdrew. It became the sun in the sky, you see. We began to feel its heat on our skin and on our feet radiating up from the ground and so forth. It was a whole different world. And each one of us felt separate from one another and felt this longing, this ancient, longing. Now it's ancient, then it was new. But this longing for a return to the heart, a love of the sun that came about because of that, but this longing for a return to that presence of heart where we could see all of ourselves in the reality and no longer have to feel this isolation of separation, which was reiterated later when we invented, birth and death. Death came first and then the birth, but that's another story. It's a little too long for today. But I'll tell it to you someday. Just remind me, okay? We got a chat room, by the way, if you're tuned in there on the CoyoteClub.com front page and listening there. Beautiful. We appreciate it. But if you look up the top of that page, there's a little banner with a whole bunch of pages on it. Just go there to that one that says chat room, and you can chatter with me while we're on the air here, I don't see many people there today. In fact, everybody's gone away, but that's okay, because I know you're listening to it at another time of day. We do our best to get these shows up as quick as we can, so you hear fresh stuff more and more, man, okay? But that's what we can be in this reality. That's what we're working toward, Where we've felt the separation, now our journey is to end our sense of isolation that creates such heartlessness and cruelty here. Because only in separation can such things be practiced. And separation of itself is living in a lie. Because we're not separated, even though it seems to be. Notice the connections, like I mentioned earlier today. Like that connection with the eagle, maybe that connection with the coyote you felt. Maybe it's connection with the dog, a cat, or a wild animal. A fox comes and goes running with you when you're going through the woods. Things like that. Strange things happen. Good connections develop. And are developed between humans and the animal and bird kingdom, and even the plant kingdom. Some people can feel close to a tree, can wrap their arms around it and feel the roots going all the way down into the earth and all the way into the atmosphere. It's an incredible feeling, dear. Those moments of connection are meant to reiterate our truth. And in fact, to bring us back to our truth, that it isn't just one little connection here and there. Those just suggest a larger truth, which is that we are all united. And when we're living in that way, babies, there is no way we could consider warfare or anything else. Anything destructive is just unthinkable. It doesn't happen anymore because we changed our way of seeing things, our way of being in things, our way of being with one another. Everything that we've known goes out the window. And the greatest sense of satisfaction that humans have ever felt comes forward once again as we realize our rightful place as the children of creation, the children of the stars and of every nation and tribe, all energies and powers that live. everything that's there with us, and we with that. Now look into the universe, and instead of feeling small, you will feel it all. You will feel the love that makes it real, even in this limited sort of way. Only in limitation can you appreciate being beyond limitation, okay? And working in unity with all of life. Talk about a dance. Talk about rock and roll. Well, there you go. Medicine for your heart.